This is sort of a recommendation, I suppose. A video popped up in my mirror, in this mirror, in the phone's mirror, um, by the Voyagers channel on YouTube that was called NOMI Planet, NOMI Earth, NOMI Planet, and NOMI Earth. And it's not very long, but in the short period of time and energy that it takes to view the information, it's what I call a condensed version of the truth. By virtue of the experiences that I've had, that sort of extrapolate all the information and what's possible to experience to try and translate why we're experiencing what we're experiencing in this particular reality, being here on planet Earth, right? And the difference between experiencing a crystal spiral, right, versus experiencing a Metatronic spiral, right, or what we call black flowering, or another way to put it is a black heart, right, which is a deadlight mirror, which is a black mirror, right, which is a fall. It's fall. Keeps falling, keeps falling, keeps falling, and keeps falling until it's gone, right? So it explains in a very concise way how, if you will, the stealth code, speed code works that I'm very familiar with, and what happened in August of 2016. Why it's not a coincidence I lit myself on fire in 2016, okay? And the ultimate outcome of that is obviously good news. So I would suggest that video for those that may not have seen it, for whoever sees this video that I'm putting into the morphogenetic field structure of this particular platform. And so how that relates to, well, I'll give you an example. There's, I got a little text on my phone from the gal that lives upstairs, right? And it's like, okay, now we're going to revisit an issue in the past. And there's some things about that I'm aware of, right? That I know that it's like, don't even go down that highway of even trying to open up Pandora's box, which is like another library, because of the library that you know that they're running on. And sort of when you understand how the spirals work based on the libraries that they're running on, particularly as an antenna, right? That it's like, what's his name? Ian, who has the Waking Earth channel, who did the time wave spirals, showing the difference between the two. And he said it's like two computers, right, that are aware of each other. One is trying to communicate with another, but the other computer just cannot process the vibration and the frequencies of the communication in a way that is even coherent to them, which means, yeah, I get it. Because they can pull all those fragments in to experience being the whole, which is the information that is being experienced and communicated by one to them on a crystal spiral, when somebody else is experiencing a different spiral wave, right? By virtue of what we experience by the wave that they're experiencing them, which is not the same wave, right? So this is why it becomes very tricky, because it's like you would love to be able to unpack and unfold some of the information of why I'm here by conversations that I have with others, like Jason, who's the property owner, and this man who lives on the other side of the island that I've had very honest, upfront discussions and conversations with, so they know who I am. I've shared with them upfront and in truth, because you can read their capacitor to translate the codes, the frequencies, and the information that's represented by what I'm aware of that I'm communicating with them, they can properly translate. Do they have the ability to do that? That's called a map read of another operating system. Okay. So I have two operating systems that have been on this property that I've communicated with, where the information based on the frequencies of how that information is communicated and they can translate in them, they get it. There are others, don't even bother, right? They do not have the capacity of light to experience within their own state of consciousness the amount of information that is connected to a lot of information, which is represented by a large library that is circulating, that they do not have the capacitor to experience. Because that's what it is. It's being able to map read the difference between a capacitor and a resistor on a motherboard. So Lay always used to remind me a lot, even though you know that eternal unconditional love has the capacity to love you forever. So therefore, God has the capacity to not only forgive you forever, but what's called, remember the old patience of Job, which means I will never stop loving you, which means I will never stop communicating to you what it is that I'm aware of by virtue of who I am, no matter who you are, no matter what's happened to you. Which means God doesn't give up on our children. Right? And we're back to not leaving a soul fragment on a spiritual battlefield. God is not going to leave a fraction of himself on a spiritual battlefield that needs to recover and integrate as a salvage contract. Right? So that video on Voyagers, the NOMI planet, NOMI Earth, is a short little video. It gives you the history of the seeded races, how long it's been going on, what stealth code means, and where we're at now, and why we're experiencing what we are on a planetary level, on a galactic level, on a universal level. Everything that went into making this happen. You know? So anyway, thank you all very much for being here. We love you all. Be good to yourself. Kamalawati.